My father, he was a GP. He was a local doctor. He always wanted me to be a doctor. So he had all his hope pinned onto me that I'm going to take the legacy of his profession forward. And I disappointed him big time when I chose to be a chef. Then I opened the first one in Covent Garden. I had no idea about how it's going to be received in the market. And there was a big gap in the middle of where is a good restaurant which sits right in the middle. A good place that you can have a decent meal was missing. And I think Dishoom came and just plugged that hole as if it was always meant to be doing it. And now, it's a phenomenon. I had no clue about Dubai being such a competitive market. You think if you have arrived here, if you made it well in London or New York, Dubai feels natural to you to go and open a restaurant there and it's going to be successful. Now, 1 year down the line, if you ask me that, I would advise people not to do that. I think when you turn from a chef into a business head, I think the biggest challenge you face is how do you come out of your creativity shell and run the business as business? Because running the business is very non-sentimental part of your life. Being a chef is very emotional part of your existence. And I think there's always a clash between that emotional and the practical side. And that's where a lot of people struggle. Nihari is that comforting dish, which you do not need anything else. Just one good nihari is what should suffice you for your life.
Chef, honestly, I don't feel like eating. It is an art. It looks amazing. I'm tempted to eat this.
Yes, please, let's try.
Welcome to new episode of No Comfort with Manish, where we go deeper in conversation with celebrities, hoteliers, chefs, restaurateurs, and we discuss about how they have moved out of their comfort zone. Today, we have a very special guest, Chef Naved, who created Dishoom in London. Now he has moved to Dubai and created in such a competitive world a new restaurant called Khadak. Chef Naved, the creative force behind the iconic Dishoom in UK and now the mastermind in Dubai's newest culinary sensation, Khadak. Known for blending tradition with bold innovation, he is a chef, storyteller, and a culinary trailblazer. Welcome to my show, Naved. Let me start with some warm-up questions. One dish which you can't live without.
One ingredient is salt.
Not
can't-
sugar?
I can't live without salt. I'm also not diabetic, but almost at the edge of it. But also has high blood pressure. And my wife keeps nagging me to not have that extra salt. But as a chef, that extra pinch is what adds the magic.
Right.
As salt is magical.
I understand. Let me ask you this question. The dish that defines Chef Naved.
Nihari. And there's a reason for it because I've had nihari probably the oldest memory I have of a dish is nihari. I remember a pot simmering overnight in my ancestral home at my grandfather's place and then eating it for the breakfast in the morning. The entire family of 24 people sitting around that pot and hogging on that dish is my earliest memory of food in a celebrity environment or where you have a dish which is the center point of the whole celebration. And then I've had many niharis in my life. I mean, I can name you few places. If you go to Shadi Shabrati in Delhi, one of my favorite places. Noor Mohammadi in Bombay, the Shahi plate, which is kind of a nihari. Amazing, out of the world. And we do a version of it. So my recollection of all those niharis is here on the correct menu.
No, I have tried nihari the other day. I came with one of the legendary celebrity. I'll not name it here, but I tell you, after eating your nihari, we were talking about the whole evening and whole night. So that was completely different nihari. So I understand your passion. I could see Chef Navid's passion coming out in that nihari.
Thank you.
Dubai or London?
Oh, this is the hard one. Look, I have come to love Dubai now. It's been a year I'm living here, and I stayed in London for a long 14 years, and I call it home now. But Dubai actually is a really interesting place. It's an in between of the two worlds. Like if you love East and you love West, if you love the old days and you love the modernity of the world, I think Dubai gives you that opportunity when you could just drive 20 minutes and you're in a corner of Dubai when you are in a souk 200, 300 years back. Or you drive into downtown and you go to the most fancy restaurant and you would be in the 21st century on the day. So I think London does that in a different, interesting way. But Dubai is really really cool as well. So it's a hard one. Let me choose. Mm, London.
Really? And Dubai is so safe.
It-
Dubai is now look at the weather; it's so amazing. So
I give you
I
all
mean,
of them. I give you, and that's why I'm conflicted with this answer, but I think I have to tell you the truth.
no, good, good. Now let me ask this question: if Naved, what you are today, अगर आप शेफ नहीं होते,
Hmm.
तो आज नावेद क्या कर रहे होते?
बहुत ही ये सवाल शायद मैंने बहुत बार सुना है और बहुत बार इसके जवाब दिए हैं। और मैं नहीं चाहता कि मैं अपने आप को कन्फ्लिक्ट करूँ पुराने जवाबों से, बट ये जवाब सच भी है। मेरे फादर ही वाज़ अ जीपी, ही वाज़ अ लोकल डॉक्टर, जनरल फिजिशियन, एंड ही ऑलवेज़ वांटेड मी टू बी अ डॉक्टर। हम 2 भाई हैं और माय यंगर ब्रदर इज़ he was good in studies, but he was not as good as probably I am. Well, he was, just call him average. He wouldn't mind. I've told him many a times. So he had all his hope pinned onto me that I'm going to take the legacy of his profession forward. And I disappointed him big time when I chose to be a chef. And you know what, Manish? He did not speak to me for a long time. So we were not on talking terms post me becoming a chef. And there was a time in Bombay when I end up giving few interviews for the local magazines, and I saw my name, first time in newspapers for magazines, and I sent him the cutouts, just making what to make him feel
Make you
like,
feel good. Yes,
yeah,
yes, yes,
he
yes.
did not buy into that. He always used to call me Khansama. So yeah, if I would have fulfilled his dream, I would have been a doctor. But an average doctor probably. The world has gained a better chef, I guess. I'm not the best.
You're still a
In my
doctor of
profession.
the food, I would say.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can call us that. We call it artist rather than a doctor. Doctor is very precise.
Right.
I'm not in that camp of precision. I'm into the camp of cooking good food, soulful food.
But is your father still speaking to you?
He passed away, unfortunately. My
Oh,
father at 12, I
okay,
lost
sorry.
him. Unfortunately, he never saw my success. So he never came to Bombay when I was in Bombay for 9 years. And when I went to London, and I was doing really well with Dishoom, he could never travel to UK as well. Though he wanted to. I think he was more charmed by coming to London than Mumbai. And but there was no chance we had. When he passed away suddenly, and I lost him. But I think in from me joining the 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 bandwagon of becoming a chef to the point he passed away, I think we did come to a conclusion. I think
Right.
he kind of uh, grudgingly accepted that his son has become a chef now. But he could never understand that this profession has nobility. I think this is probably the middle class problem as well in India, wherein these professions are never looked upon as professions of dignity, like the engineers and the doctors. If you ask any middle class Indian family, now I think cricket would become part of it, but they would always tell you, "I want my son to be engineer or doctor."
No, but
And it's
I
not there still, unfortunately.
correct. I mean, same when I was growing up, exactly the same. But I can tell you, I mean, your dad is up there. I'm sure he must be very. We are all proud. I'm sure he's proud as well. What you have done is amazing. But yes, things have changed now. And you know,
It's
if
a
you
change.
look at the journey of chefs, जब हम बड़े हो रहे थे और तब और उसके बाद now, it's not about hotels and all. It's all about chef.
Yeah.
Chefs are curators. Chefs are the one who comes at front. हमारे time पे तो chefs they never used to come out.
True.
So kudos. I mean, what you have done, well done.
Well, thank you.
And chef, let's talk about your journey from Dishoom to Khadak. Pioneer, what you did to uh, Dishoom in London. You know, you took that Indian cuisine to global platform, and all of a sudden
Wow.
in Dubai, where you know you've created an amazing concept and a restaurant, Khadak. Let's talk about that journey. How do you feel about it, and how was the journey?
Wow, big word, first of all. I don't know whether I fit into those words, but look, the shoe was probably the most pivotal in my career. Like I probably count one episode in my life when I was in Bombay. I worked with the legendary chef Imtiaz. And probably if you ask me the epitome of my career, then those 3 years are the most iconic. But the tissue journey of 13 years, 14 years, I think that made me the person I am. Not just the chef, but the person I am. Going to a culture which is very shocking for a middle class Indian family when they migrate to a alien country. You have a lot of notions about London because you have seen London in Bollywood movies and you have a image of it. It all shatters in one to one. Sorry, I'm digressing from your question, but I want to bring it back in a in a way wherein it kind of expresses my views. bit more clearly for the audiences. Um, First day when I landed, beautiful bright summer afternoon. It was May the 16th. Next day, the weather turned gloomy, and it just never changed from that point onwards. It stayed gloomy for a month. And I was like, this is not the London I actually seen in the movie.
Right,
All
right.
you see is
All
the
blurred
dark-
with dancers
Exactly.
and right.
So that happened first. But then slowly, once you get into the mold of the London life, it embraces you pretty much like Mumbai. London is Mumbai to me, wherein the first is a shock, and you land in London, it shocks you in many ways. But then it embraces you, and then it makes you its own. When you leave London, you feel like living home, whether you belong or not. So this is the legacy of the city itself. And then Dishoom added a massive layer to that life. Because I started Dishoom in 2010. I opened the first one in Covent Garden. I had no idea about how it's going to be received in the market. And more importantly, I never knew the British press, which is classified as very brutal. They've been very nice to me. So I don't know why people classify the British press to be the most brutal press out there. Maybe they're honest, maybe they're not. Um, but they received Dishoom very well. And I think that reception gave us that, it propelled us into that zone of wherein we could claim that, we have arrived. Also, we had a massive gap right in the middle. London, back in those days, has the Michelin stars at one end of the spectrum, and they had the hordes of curry houses. And there was a big gap in the middle of where is a good restaurant which sits right in the middle. A good place that you can have a decent meal was missing. And I think Shun came and just plugged that hole as if it was always meant to be doing it. And now, it's a phenomenon. I
Man,
think it's
I
a
mean,
phenomenon.
I think I met you first time there in Covent Gardens. I mean, what a restaurant. And thanks for helping me out. मुझे reservation नहीं मिला था, line में खड़े रहो. And you know the concept when you give you a chai, आप जब line में
Yeah.
खड़े रहते हो. Amazing. And I still bother you. I know you're here. कि अगर कुछ लोगों को जाना पड़ता है, so let me call Chef Naved and Chef Naved will sort it out, which is amazing. It is what you have created is hats off to you.
I think probably that's the legacy I leave. I don't know about Khadak. I think it's too young to be classified as a legacy. But for me, Khadak is very personal. If Dishoom was a professional decision to move to London and do it with all the heart and all the integrity I had, I given everything to it. And I still classify Dishoom to be my home. Like Kavi and Shamal were here last month. We had a dinner together and felt like I've never left. Those directions you build for life. And I think when I go back to London, it feels the same. Like I go to Dishoom and I have this very bad habit of venturing into the kitchen straight away and start correcting things.
But that's
And then I can back off, say, I don't work here anymore. I have no place to kind of now come into the kitchen, barge into it, and start correcting people. And I do that. And
But that's again because you have seen that baby grown and you know you
fine. That's the
correct
process.
yeah you
It-
produced it and you have seen and good to see especially आज की दुनिया में you know where we are into hustle and bustle the relationship what you have kept
Right.
with the current owner I mean that does matter and you know they have given you that leeway as well to do it and for me that's the best thing no.
I've always done that in my life. Like, call them bosses. I always build a personal relationship. Shami is like elder brother to me. He's the co-founder of Dishoom. And I just don't go to him for work. I've gone to Shamil for even really private conversations, like advices in my life. And he's always advised me as if a elder brother would do. And previously, like I remember when I was leading ITC, my immediate boss at the time, let me name him, Mr. Chiba. He was the general manager I had. And when I was interviewing for Dishoom, I did not approach him as a boss. I just went to him and I was seeking advice, like, what salary should I negotiate? When do I leave? He was like, you should be coming and telling me and giving your resignation, not ask me what salary you were negotiating with them. But I think that was the confidence and the relationship I had with my bosses, wherein they always were family and they still are. Like I call Mr. Chabat even now, 25 years down the line, and I tell him, you know what, boss, I'm stuck here. Like, can you help me? And he would happily pick up my phone at 4 in the morning. There's a really ugly episode of my life. I don't think we need to go into the sad part, but he helped me when no one did.
So, you know, I think you're a people's person and that's what is important. And especially, you know, the industry, जिसमें हम हैं, जिस industry में, I think it is needed. So, good. Now, coming back to Khadak Chef, Dubai, buzzing market, competition all around. And you decided to come to Dubai and to a street where I would say alcoholic beverages are not served, come with that philosophy and say, you know what, I will do something here. And jo aapne kara hai, what was your vision and what was your philosophy, if I may ask you this question?
So when you said so much of a competition, there's a restaurant opening here every single week. China has no fear of a snake, basically, was the philosophy. I had no clue about Dubai being such a competitive market. And actually, when you are sitting outside Dubai, when you are in a London market or a New York market, you look at Dubai as an extension. You think if you have arrived here, if you made it well in London or New York, Dubai feels natural to you to go and open a restaurant there, and it's going to be successful. Now, 1 year down the line, if you ask me that, I would advise people not to do that. They need to come here, understand the market, see what's going on here, and then open a restaurant. Would have would that change my decision to come here? No, because I came with a very different idea. So for me, not that my idea is unique, but for me, the primary goal was to create a proof of concept for Indian restaurant without alcohol and no compromise. Like if you come to Khadak, you do not feel that you are losing something by not coming to a non-alcoholic place, because that is something which I wanted to do in my second life, in my second innings, as you would call in the cricket analogy. And alcohol or not doing alcohol was a deal breaker for me. So for me, there are very few markets which are then left for me to go and try and do it. And I think in that sequence of events, Dubai feels very natural step. You go to Dubai and you try and do the proof of concept in the market, which is naturally has those client base which would come to a non-alcoholic place. So that was my primary reason. And also obviously there's a familiarity with Dubai, right? You understand the culture, you know the people, you probably you think that you know the market, which I confess to you I did not. Like I would have actually thought twice or have done more research before opening Khadak than I did. It's a really competitive market. You're not competing with just the good Indian restaurant around you, and there are many, by the way. You're competing with the Karama crowd, with
Right,
Tera crowd,
right, right.
and they are these guys like whether it's Pakistani restaurants or Indian restaurants are giving you a fantastic meal for 30, 40, 50 dirhams. How do you compete with them? And then on the flip side, you have these really grand Michelin star restaurants, amazing places people go to and happily spend money. So it's a crowded place, and I think to carve a niche for yourself is challenging.
No, I think what you have done is amazing. I mean, when you came in and हम touch पे रहते
Yeah.
थे and कि क्या है, कहाँ होगा, कैसा होगा. And when you open, I mean, I know a lot of our common friends, they did not have that faith कि it's very competitive. I don't think so chalega and all. But you believed in yourself and you were like adamant कि नहीं दुबई में करना है and all. And what you have created is amazing.
Thank you.
You know, I feel so proud being Indian and knowing you for last 5, 6 years.
Means a
And
lot.
proudly, I send a lot of guests. And being a hotelier, I understand the challenges and competition. So, bravo. I mean, your team, what you have created, the team and the name in the market. And you got that Michelin recommendation in, I think, first 5 or 6 months.
Fun.
6 months. I have never seen in my whole career someone doing it. So, well done, chef. Really, really well done.
For people who don't know, I think Manish was my advisor, by the way. For 2 years, I think I had a close group of people who helped me in conceptualizing Khadak and also trying to understand the market locally. And he was here, so I always would pick up a phone and call you and say, what?
Right, right.
Kya chal raha hai?
नहीं, सब कुछ सही चल रहा है एंड जो चल रहा है ऐसे ही चलता रहे. It's God's grace. Chef, your dishes all, it's talk about creativity and great philosophy, and it really comes from within, right? And I've seen all this and tried all the dishes in your menu. Um, tell all the audience one dish which you would like people to come and try here.
Like Karani Kale, obviously that one dish. But, Nihari is that comforting dish, which you do not need anything else. Just one good Nihari is what should suffice you for your life. So, Nihari, why don't we try it?
Let's try that. Harriet, can you please bring some nice nihari for us?
Look at that.
Wow. Chef, honestly, I don't feel like eating. It is an art. It looks amazing. I'm tempted to eat this.
Yes.
Please, let's try. All yours.
निहारी खाने का मजा है. No fuss. Dirty your hands. Put everything inside it. Dump the roti and have a piece of meat, bit of the coriander, a little bit of the chili, dash of lime. You know, that's how you
Chef,
do it.
let's
Do
start,
it?
man. Let's start. Let's do it. Okay, all yours.
All of it. Brown onions, some green chilies. There you go. Just with a bit of lime.
See, as I mentioned, ingredient for me, you are like coriander, and that's on top. Give that freshness. So
Go for it. Break the bread first.
first, mix it.
Yeah, we made it from here only.
Okay.
That's it.
A little bit of sauce.
Try and take all the condiments also. Take a bit of a chili. That's it. रोटी के साथ खाई जाती है निहारी सर.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go straight into it.
It is amazing. It is. अब रोटी के साथ
Hmm.
heaven, chef, heaven.
Look, it ignites all your flavors.
And so different than normal nihari जहाँ भी मैंने खाया है. So easy, the taste, you can dip all the flavors and everything is good. So well done, chef. Really,
Thank
really
you.
nice.
Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Now, let me ask you leadership style. For me, that is very, very important. I've worked around in different places. Working in India, then working in London, and then for Dubai, Anna. And Dubai, you are dealing with international market. Your clients are different. Team is different. How do you deal with it? What did you do?
I think people are people, right? They don't change. The intrinsic nature of human beings actually is very static. It doesn't change with their nationality or the skin color, which is probably my learning in last 25 years in the industry. As you said, I worked in Bombay, then I was in London for 13 years, and then back here in Dubai. And I think I've dealt with pretty much like Dishoom had 56 nationalities. In Khadak, we have 13 nationalities working under one roof. So I don't think it changes a lot. The human nature is human nature. If you ask me my style, so I have this philosophy that I tell all the young managers who I end up speaking to, I get an opportunity to coach. Um, I tell them this that before you give anyone any negative feedback, please deposit in their account a lot of positivity, a lot of love. If you withdraw from a dry account, you're overdrawn. And I think the relationship is starting at a negative footing. Vis-a-vis, if you've had a colleague who you praise enough and you're deposited into his account enough love, you also automatically gain the right to correct them when things go wrong. And if you don't do it that way, I think it is very hard for you to be loved. And I think a leader needs to be loved. And if they don't have that quality, then I think you can be a dictator and you can still get your job done. But to have that place, especially in hospitality, which is a brutal industry and requires a lot of dedication and hard work and sincerity and whatnot, if you tell someone that today I want you to be here at this time, and I don't know when you're going to go home, and there are times when that happens, you would know it as a manager, and you don't know, you don't tell them how long that shift is going to be, or is it going to turn into a double shift or triple probably, and then that they respond in the very first call, yes, boss, I'm coming, and I'll be there 5 minutes early. That's when you have gained the loyalty from them. And that can only happen from the pure place of love.
Right.
And then that the dedication and that sincerity you have shown towards them.
No, I think I agree. And we're in a human business. I mean, we know whatever we can talk about robotic things coming in the picture. I think we're into human business is very important. They know that connection to make. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way that's about leadership. Now, let me ask you an interesting question. Chef Naved, I don't think so. He's a chef. I think he's a businessman. Okay. And a lot of young chefs I see, they all want to become Chef Naved or a Michelin chef. And I think those days are gone as a chef where you can really shine. You have to be curator. You have to be influencer. You
Creator.
Yes, content creator and creating dishes as well, an influencer yourself, uh, and free. I mean, doing everything. Starting from scratch. The thing that 360. What message you will give it to a young dynamic chef who wants to be Chef Naved?
Mm. So I was very fortunate that I spent 14 years in Dishoom because I want a 360-degree view of the business in Dishoom, which then helps you in creating those foundation beyond being a chef, which is required to be an entrepreneur, as you said. Because I think when you turn from a chef into a business head, I think the biggest challenge you face is how do you come out of your creativity shell and run the business as business? Because running the business is very non-sentimental part of your life. Being a chef is very emotional part of your existence. And I think there's always a clash between that emotional and the practical side. And that's where a lot of people struggle. They don't know which side to choose, whether to stay as a chef and be a creative. And some people do that very successfully.
Right, right,
I'm not
right.
saying that hasn't happened. But if you can find that balance and also the skill and the knowledge of the other side of picture, which is how to run the business as business without bringing your emotions into it, I think that's going to strengthen your proposition really, really well. Um, have I mastered it? No, probably not. And I think, as I said, I think Dijum helped me in kind of figuring it out in the way wherein I was very close to numbers. And I love numbers, by the way. I was a math student back in school, so naturally, numbers doesn't scare me. A lot of the chefs actually have this
Right.
side where
15 years.
the
Correct.
P&Ls and numbers scare them. Or, as I said, the human side is I'm very close to my team, whether it's the front of the house, back of the house. Another Dishoom, another leaf from the Dishoom success book is there was no back of the house in front of the house of Dishoom. And I'm not saying it, your industry, so you would understand this. That line, that kitchen pass, is the India Pakistan border. It's that South Korea, North Korea. You have fights on that border. It's radical, it's ugly, and it turns into sometimes fist fight actually. I've seen all that happening in our careers, right? Dishoom was not that. And I think the way that happened was Brian, who is the current managing director of Dishoom, Brian and I worked together from day one very closely. We used to always, at the end of the shift, sit together and eat. We had this little ritual. And the team would see that and they would see that, these two guys are together. They're not, they don't have a gap between them. And then you bring in that philosophy of people kind of working together as one team, not back of the house, front of the house.
The house.
I
Right.
think that is something which I managed to create here also, wherein as a chef, my natural inclination is towards the kitchen team, or people would like to think that. I thankfully so far, hope the team agrees, have managed to do that, wherein I see them as one team. And I sometimes, give tilt more towards my front of the house team than my kitchen team.
The point what you said, and I think I fully endorse as a leader and to creating that culture. So you are involved apart from all these things because
Yeah.
you're running a business, you're the owner to create that culture. And I think you have been very, very successful in Dishum, and it's a good learning, and you try to create the same. So whether you are in whichever business you are, I think creating a culture is important. And I feel we can all talk about brands. Khadak, there is no one called Khadak. Khadak is Chef Naved, and Chef Naved is creating a culture, right? It's the people who creates the brand, and not that brand is creating people. So think what you have created, and in within a year or 1.5 years, what you have achieved, and you can see the results. So I think that plays a major role.
Manish, on culture, I just want to add one line that a lot of the time people think culture is that written code. A lot of corporates do.
Right.
Admission,
Correct.
vision,
Correct. Correct.
10 pointers.
10 pointers.
It's actually just simple human behavior. And you have to curate and encourage the right human behavior to create the culture. And it is impossible to do that if the leadership is inconsistent with that idea. I think Dishum had that. We had this philosophy of seva, which is selfless giving. I mean, it's very common in the Indian culture that seva is if you go to a gurdwara, for example, and you have a meal there,
Right.
a langar there, no one would judge you whether you are a Muslim or a Hindu or a Sikh. And you would sit in the same line and they would serve you with
Right.
equal respect and love. That is seva. And I think that is the philosophy Dishum adapted. But it was the consistent behavior from top to bottom,
Right.
which eventually led everyone in the same direction. A lot of time, big organizations fail because they do not do it consistently. the boss is going to be the first one to break that rule.
Correct.
And then it goes nowhere. Those
Correct.
mission vision goes to
Right. I think you can just remember, I mean, good old days when we were growing. These are the five missions and vision we all work. And, that's a little bit diverting, but I feel that, one of the success of all standalone is because they're not in a corporate culture. Sometimes we get hooked up in corporate culture and they have this mission and vision in a corporate culture where you have to follow, you can't divert. And standalone restaurant where you're the boss, you're running the show, you can always change. And that makes a big difference to create easy, actually, I would say, to create the culture and
yes, an
move forward.
advantage.
Yes. Last question for me, and it's all about no comfort zone. We speak about it. Do you think for any success, you have to move out of your comfort zone, or you are happy what Chef Naved is doing now that Khadak is here and let's stay here, or you will disrupt the market and do something different and take that to a next level?
Uh, Look, I'm not a firm believer of disruption. I think disruption is a negative word. It has negative connotation. I have this beautiful story which we repeated many times over in my life in different situations. When Parsis arrived in India, um, they landed on the Gujarat coast. I think Surat is probably where the first ship landed, and they migrated to India. The the king of that region sent them a glass full of milk, signifying that there's no space here. We're already full of people, and we don't have any more to accommodate. And the head of the Parsis actually took a spoonful of sugar, added to the milk, stirred it, and sent it back to the king, signifying that we're going to be like sugar in this milk. We're not going to take any space, but we'll make the milk sweeter. So I think that's the philosophy I would like to kind of remember and adapt when Khadak has opened here. You've got so much love from an industry, and I know this industry sometimes is brutal, and I think we've had people who did not like us, but there are many people who embraced us with both the arms around us. And I think it was impossible otherwise to make your mark without getting the industry support. Khadak received that, and I think that's the philosophy I'm in. Yes, there's a one approach of the pie is the same when you slice your own pie, piece of the pie, and thus everyone is resentful and saying, "Wow, these guys have come in to eat your eat your pie or the piece of your pie." But I always feel the pie could be made bigger, and even if I slice my own part of it, everyone will still have a bigger slice of the pie. You can only make the pie bigger if you have a collective approach to it. And Dubai is a great city in terms of making the pie bigger. And I don't know how I can, it's too early for me to probably tell you how I can make the pie bigger. But I don't want to be disruptive. I don't want anyone to feel threatened by the existence of Khadak. We're here to probably support and in whatever way I could the industry at large and our neighbors, obviously who are around us, and we expect the same from them. I think that's the philosophy I have.
No, well said, Chef Naved. And I fully sometimes no need to disrupt and just keep doing the same consistency, and
I think that
your consistency is the name of the game. So yeah, Chef Naved, let's go into some fun part with rapid fire.
ooh,
Are you ready?
rapid fire. Let's do it.
Let's fire, man. Yeah, you play with fire, so this is easy for you. One dish which you can cook in your sleep as well.
Hmm? Biryani. I can get good biryani.
Your guilty pleasure snack at 2 a.m.
Sikh kebab roll at Bade Mian.
Okay. Dubai or London, better street food.
Dubai. I have to accept
And
this.
अच्छा है आपने ये लंदन नहीं बोला. I don't know what London street food has, but
There is good street food, but I think Dubai is better.
now one dish which everyone thinks they can cook better, but they mess it up.
Chai. It's not a dish, but I'll tell you what, it's my life's story. And I've had I don't know how many varieties of chai. I know we do rapid fire, but no one knows how to make a good chai.
I fully agree. You can mess up this chai. You can't get that chai. Such a simple thing, but people mess up, right? Toughest part of being a chef.
Everyone thinks you can cook everything.
That's true. That's true. Funniest kitchen disaster you have ever seen.
Oh my god, this is a long one. Do we have 1 minute? This is not going to be a rapid fire.
Just
round.
one.
1 minute? Okay, let me try and sum it up. I was training in Bombay. We were training in the bakery section, and I had a um, partner, my batchmate. She was actually not into kitchen housekeeping, so she was training in kitchen for her time. So chef asked her to bring beda and wash it. By the way, beda महाराष्ट्र में अंडे को बोलते हैं. तो she heard beda लाके धोना है. तो उसने सुना मैदा. वो पूरा एक सैक मैदे का लेके आई. तो छन्नी में मैदा डाला. पानी के नीचे धोई. And the chef looked at her and was like, "What is going on here?" He said, "Chef, आपने तो बोला था कि मैदा लाओ दो." So that is the funniest
That's
one.
a good one. That's a good one. A dish that made you think, wow, I nailed this.
Ooh, difficult. I'm not the creator of this dish, but I'm very proud of it. It's the jackfruit halim we have on the menu. And I was not convinced in the beginning. But eventually when the team nailed it, and we did it together, obviously. I don't want to take the full claim of it. I felt really proud. Like,
It is amazing. Chef, we are going to try that dish.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this is,
Yeah.
after this, we're going to try. This is amazing. I really love it.
Yeah.
I really. One thing every home cook is doing wrong.
Giving wrong food nutrition advices.
That's true.
They don't understand it. Stop doing it.
Now, this is tough question. Don't be diplomatic. See the answer. Khadak or Dishoom?
Okay. Hand in heart, Dishoom. Dishoom. It's my home.
Okay, okay. Dishoom memory you will never forget?
Oh, many. 14 years, many memories. We almost killed someone once. We were doing a pop-up and we bought this Gula machine.
Right.
And Carl, who had no idea how that ice shaving machine works, he put a big block of ice inside it and he switched the motor on.
Oh,
And the block of ice shot like a cannonball and could have actually gone anywhere and killed anyone. Thank God. That disaster did not last into a sad memory, but a pretty cheerful one now.
a dish at Khadak everyone must try first.
Karadi ke chai. Oh, I love that dish. And people love it.
I'm sorry, Sabi dish, your dishes are amazing. I mean, you told me your nihari, you told me about jackfruit and this. I love it. What makes Khadak different from every other Indian restaurant in Dubai?
Oh, sir, I don't know. I think what probably we do is we're just trying to bring the charm out of the old world hospitality, the way it should have been done, with stories. People are here to have a good time, not just eat food. And we're just trying to do that. If you come into Khadak, those 2 hours becomes a really nice memory for you. And you remember that as a nice, good memory for that. The food becomes part of that story.
Now, some personal question, chai or coffee?
Oh, a coffee is fantastic.
I'm sorry, I don't buy this.
You know what?
For me.
Chai is the answer.
Chai. Okay, good. Bombay or Delhi?
Bombay. Bombay any day. I'm a Delhi wala, by the way. So don't get offended. I'm from Delhi, but Bombay for me.
One celebrity you would love to cook for?
Harbhajan Singh. He's a foodie.
Okay, I promise I'll get him here again. What's the last thing you Googled?
I check my reviews. So I do look at the guest feedback. It's good. Very, very personal for me. And sometimes you do get a punch in your gut when sometimes there's a critical feedback. But I take all of that in my stride and I learn from it every day.
Okay. Now, again, an honest answer. Don't be diplomatic, please.
I'm not.
A chef you're secretly competitive with?
Oh. That's a really good question, actually. Well, look, I love the young generation. They're doing something very, really, really cool. Like,
No, chef. Just name.
the-
Are you not competitive? You are.
no, I'm not.
You are. Come on.
If you push me to name,
Just name one.
or I wouldn't say I secretly compete with him, but I secretly admire it.
Okay.
That's Chef Atul Kochhar. I think he's the guy.
He's a legend.
And he
He's a
started
legend.
started when none of us dreamt of starting in that direction. And I think he secretly inspires all.
He's a legend. He's a legend. Yes. A dish you think is overrated?
To be honest with you, biryani is overrated. Like, there's not a bad biryani out there. Lot of biryani.
Right.
I will say that. But a good biryani still trumps any dish on the table.
A cooking trend that needs to stop immediately?
Kunafa. Don't want pistachio to go out of the market. It is gone out of the market. The pistachio prices are up 30%. I can't afford pistachio
I
finger.
can't believe it's been more than 2 years. ये Dubai kunafa ने मुनाफा कर दिया है. But anyway, hats off whoever created. So, uh, what's one thing customer do that annoys chef?
Oh, be preachy in their feedback. I would love to have a good feedback. But when people try and preach you, that's probably a little bit crossing the line.
Right. Chef Naved, describe yourself in 3 ingredients.
Oh, salt sugar lye, khata meetha, and salty.
Okay. I will say coriander. You bring the freshness. You know the coriander on top. And for me, Chef Naved is a coriander. But good one, Chef. What next for Chef Naved?
What's next for us? To be honest with you, I'm into my second innings and I always want to do this. And I think this is now a life story. Khadak is what I have now. And I think for me, the dream is to make this brand, if not as popular as Dishoom, at par with Dishoom.
I am sure you will, Chef. I mean, amount of effort you are putting in, and especially in this competitive market, uh, it's amazing. So I'm very, very confident. Chef Naved, what's the biggest mistake you have done in your career, and what did it teach you?
In my life, actually, not just my career, probably one episode of my life no one knows until today. Um, as I said, my father wanted me to be a doctor, and I tried 1 year of all the medical competitive exam one could give, and just couldn't make it to the list. And the pressure was such that I just ran away from my house. I stayed with my cousin sister for 6 months, just trying to avoid my father. Then eventually, in that zone, in that mental zone, I took admission into B Pharmacy, the pharmacy college in Aurangabad, thinking that doctor नहीं बने तो pharmacist बन जाते हैं, close competition. But I hated it, and I landed there. I just did not like it, and I ran away from there also. So I wasted so much of money of my parents, which eventually pressured me to pick up the next big thing, which was the hotel management. And I went there and I hated it there as well. And I wanted to run away from there too. But then I realized by then I wasted too much. And I said, okay, let's give it my best shot. And eventually turned out very well for me. But I mean, those sequence of mistakes, not just one.
Ah, but you were always made for Dishoom and Khadak, and for me, it will always
So
be
maybe
Khadak.
it was a
So,
time.
um,
Was it
now,
destiny?
we all work. I mean, you worked in different places as well. Let me ask you again, very personal question. Who was the toughest person you have worked with? I know you can't name. It's up to you.
No, I can name him. May he rest in peace. I think the late chef Imtiaz Qureshi. He was the I call him a grandfather of the Indian cuisine. Unfortunately, this cuisine has this really unfortunate part. It's not been documented. Especially with him gone, I think he was the repertoire of the Indian cuisine and the core of it. I had the blessing and the fortune to kind of work with him for 3 4 years in Bombay, and toughest guy. For 6 months, all I was made to do is to make stock and to grind ginger garlic and to make masalas, and never taught anything beyond that. But I think that hard work earns you the right to go on to the next step. So I've
Right.
been through a very traditional coaching in my life.
Okay, interesting. No, he was a legend, and it's a good point that we have never made a documentary. No one has made, or what he has given to Indian
I
cuisine.
told him many times prior to write a book while I was with him. But since he was uneducated, he could not read or write. He had obviously this intrinsic challenge that he could not write a book. But I encouraged him many times to document something before he would leave the world. I mean, I swear, I used to tell him that. Now he's lost. We lost it.
Now, let me ask you this question. I hope it doesn't happen, and nor it will happen. Touch wood. If Khadak falls tomorrow, right? What is next?
Oh,
As I said, I don't think so. The way you're going, it will not going to fall. But just a question for the
I have to be
audience.
brutally honest.
Yes.
I haven't thought of that scenario. I don't think that far ahead in my life. I've never done that. I think Dishoom happened like that. There were many moments in the journey of Dishoom wherein we thought, oh, are we going to make it to the next year and to the next year?
Right.
Now you look back and you say, wow, what a success it has been. I think Khadak for me is the same. There's no going back from here. It's a one-way road for me. When I chose to leave Dishoom and come here, I chose the destiny for myself.
Right.
That destiny is Khadak.
Right.
And I wouldn't let it fail. I think I have that belief.
Yeah.
Uh, Even if I'm the last person doing this, and if I'm able to pull it off, cooking,
Yeah.
serving, I'll do that with 2 tables in the restaurant.
Right. That's called your passion and your dedication and your love
Good enough.
towards the food. Now, let me ask you this question. What's the, in a restaurant, what's the one truth which people don't want to talk about?
Oh, so I think one thing which people do not want to talk about is how hard it is internally. It's not a very nice life you want to enjoy. A lot of the restaurateurs and business owners don't tell you the the underbelly of the restaurant industry, the slogs, the long hours,
Right.
the blood
Mm.
which goes your restaurateurs goes through. The consumers don't see it because they're here to have a good time. They don't see any of that. All you see is a restaurant which is successful, and you go there, and everyone is happy and having a great life. What goes behind the scene is very different, and no one tells you that.
Chef Naved, thank you so much. Telling your story, where, how the whole journey came in, going beyond your comfort zone. I really wish a grand success for Khadak, and I hope not one or two, you create more restaurants, you give to the world more creativity and all. And wishing you all the best. And thank you so much for time and hosting in your beautiful restaurant with such a lovely hospitality. Thank you, Chef Naved.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.